Risky strategy from the Biden administration with this ad?
I think the ad in many ways is a bit misguided. And I think the administration also has had really significant troubles over the years in figuring out just how it wants to message on what is definitely a crisis at the southern border. You ask families coast to coast, and they will say that they do not believe that this administration has properly tackled, again, what we see as a complex immigration issue playing out in real time. And it almost feels like there's never been any sort of stop to it. There's never been a break in it. And of course, we all have a bit of amnesia, right? Because we forget what the previous administration's actions were when it comes to the border. So we can really only judge since life seemed to open up and we feel as if we're all back out in society. What are we thinking of these migrants crossing over illegally? I, as someone who's a daughter of immigrants who immigrated here legally, take great issue with people jumping the line. But the Biden administration continually tells us that this is not a problem and that at the end of the day, these are not people who are threats to life and these are people who deserve asylum. So it's a mixed bag of messaging that I don't think has served the president's reelection campaign well.
And Biden could have taken executive action months ago. He didn't. Why might that be?
I think there has been a lack of desire on the president himself's part. In some ways, early on, when he first took office, we saw him deploy Vice President Harris south of the border, going to Honduras and places like Guatemala, and really saying things just very directly in plain speak. She said, "Do not come." Now, did that work? I don't think so. I think the failure, again, lies directly at the president's feet, because, at his doorstep, essentially, are these people coming here making what we can believe are credible claims? But what the vast majority of us know is that the immigration system in this country has been broken prior to President Biden taking office. Has it been exacerbated under him? The problem, the crisis. There's also this flow of fentanyl. There are many Americans who are increasingly saying yes, because they have not seen a very direct action like that executive order that, again, that could have been done, but a lack of desire on the president's part, given the amount of geopolitical tension also that he is dealing with abroad.
The 12 Democrats who are now calling on the president to take action right now, it was 15 Democrats calling on the president to take action. How do Americans interpret that, the calls from his own party to do something?
Well, it certainly raises some eyebrows, but there's also the question of why now? Why are people within the president's own party so frustrated that they need to come out and speak so loudly, it seems? I mean, it's really rare in a presidential reelection year that you see members of the party sort of fall out of line in many ways. But the complaints, the frustration has reached a fever pitch, and it ebbs and flows. We've seen it over and over, but this is pretty unusual. And it's because, again, these people are dealing with this problem directly in their communities. What they're seeing are younger Americans, older Americans, communities like the one I grew up in Southern West Virginia, ravaged not only by the opioid epidemic, but now that fentanyl that has almost been, to me, in many ways, a silent killer, one that we cannot see unless it hits home directly to somebody you know. And unfortunately, there is a growing number of Americans who see the problem continually just getting worse, and there's no direct action on it.
Yeah, the drug problem, a scary one, impacting communities large and small, and people who one pill can kill is the phrase I keep thinking plays in my mind. Rina, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.